Actress Sharon Tate first makes headlines as the star of movies like Valley of the Dolls and as the wife of famed director Roman Polanski.
Sharon Tate and Roman Polanski have become sort of the it couple.
But her name goes down in history for a very different reason.
It was beyond anyone's ability to comprehend.
In the summer of 1969,
What was that? Did you hear that?
the pregnant actress and 6 others are brutally slain in the most infamous 2 nights of murder in American history. The gruesome scenes shock even the most crime-hardened detectives.
There's bodies and blood everywhere.
These murders terrified the whole Los Angeles community.
I want you to be a new friend of mine, Charlie Manson.
The mastermind behind the slaughter, a charismatic leader of a religious cult bent on carrying out his sinister vision he calls Helter Skelter.
All you had to do was look at Charles Manson and look into his eyes, and you could see that he was mad as a March hare.
How did fate bring together a movie star and a psychopath?
Tonight, you are the devil. You understand?
Meet Charles Manson,
Manson.
Son of man. Charlie Manson.
obscure ex-con, struggling musician, and society reject, until murder made him famous. It's the crime that brought a cruel and sudden end to the decade of peace and love. The bloody Helter Skelter murders committed by Charles Manson and his so-called family left a trail of bodies strewn across the Los Angeles area in August of 1969. Press coverage was unprecedented. Notable celebrities went into hiding, and the investigation involved everyone from the Beach Boys to the son of beloved screen actress Doris Day. Since the killings, a virtually endless series of books, movies, documentaries, miniseries, and specials have appeared regularly, each one attempting to make sense of the inexplicable. For the story of the Manson murders is something we still have difficulty comprehending. To understand it, we must reveal the perfect storm of events that will forever bind Sharon Tate with Charles Manson. It is early 1960 when Dallas native and former beauty queen Sharon Tate moves to Hollywood and quickly lands roles in the television series Mr. Ed and the Beverly Hillbillies.
Sharon Tate was an exquisitely gorgeous woman who also was as sweet as she was beautiful.
Sharon Tate was the type of woman who turned heads everywhere she went. She was gorgeous, and she was a good actress. Put that all together, and the sky was the limit with what was going to happen with her Hollywood career. Sharon Tate's first big screen role is in a movie called Eye of the Devil.
While on set, Sharon meets young Polish director Roman Polanski. She's cast in his next film, The Fearless Vampire Killers.
Sharon Tate and Roman Polanski have become sort of the it couple in show business. Think of them as Brangelina in today's terms.
After a whirlwind romance, they are married in a star-studded ceremony where the photographers outnumber the guests. Meanwhile, the rest of the country is experiencing its own summer of love.
You have a real countercultural movement that is really, really happening. And you're looking at a great explosion of change,
which sets the stage for 33-year-old ex-con Charles Manson to assemble his ever-growing family of wayward kids.
It was a time when kids were wandering without purpose. Unfortunately, they found him.
Manson had the ability to intuitively understand where a person had a weakness or a need and speak to that.
Drawn to his songwriting and pseudo-Christian philosophy, they believe he represents the second coming of Christ and devote themselves completely to him, even following him to Los Angeles in search of a music career.
I think a lot of people don't know that Charles Manson was motivated by fame. He wanted to be a songwriter. He wanted to be a famous musician. All he wanted was for his name to be on everybody's lips.
Manson gets his opportunity when a random encounter in the spring of 1968 connects his family with the pop supergroup The Beach Boys.
Charles Manson literally arrives in Los Angeles and sends the women in the family out hunting.
drummer Dennis Wilson picks up two hitchhikers. As fate would have it, the two girls, Ella Jo Bailey and Patricia Krenwinkel, are Manson devotees. They spend the night with Wilson. The next evening, Wilson returns home from a recording session with the Beach Boys and hears music coming from his house.
When he gets home, Manson and the family have moved in.
A confused and frightened Wilson meets his new house guests.
What are you doing? This is my house.
Relax, friend.
Don't hurt me, man.
Hurt you? Why would I hurt you? I love you, man. You Dennis Wilson. Charlie Manson.
Somehow, Charles Manson was able to smoothly talk his way into living there with him.
There's dope, there's the Beatles playing on the stereo, and there's all these nice girls who'll do whatever Dennis wants.
Wilson quickly takes a liking to Charlie.
Now he has a beach boy willing to introduce him around to people who could get a music career going. One of the people who Charles Manson meets is Terry Melcher.
Terry!
Melcher was a boy wonder in the rock music business, and there's no bigger producer in America than Terry Melcher.
I want you to be a new friend of mine, Charlie Manson. Charlie, this is Terry Melcher. Terry is
A record producer. Son of Doris Day.
That's right.
Pleased to meet you.
Charlie's a songwriter. Some trippy ideas in his head, man.
Really?
Terry Melcher, let me introduce you to a couple of my girls.
Charlie uses sex with his girls as a means to influence Wilson and Melcher in his bid to score a record contract.
Charles Manson really did get to play his music for a lot of influential people. Even though he wasn't all that talented, he was being heard.
He even records a song at Dennis Wilson's private studio.
Yeah, pretty girl, come to
In late 1968, Manson finds himself at the rental property that Terry Melcher shares with girlfriend Candace Bergen, a secluded hilltop ranch home in Benedict Canyon.
Manson would ride sometimes with Melcher and some other friends over to this wonderful house on Cielo Drive where Melcher lived, but Manson was never invited inside.
Nevertheless, Manson continues to aggressively seek Melcher's help with his music career.
You gotta hear the stuff from my album, man. I mean, the girls play for you sometime.
I know.
I don't think you do know. I got this album I gotta do. A message to the world. It's gonna blow people's minds.
He wasn't being accepted as an equal by this man, and so that grudge formed.
Melcher makes vague promises to Manson that he will never follow through on, an act which will have unintentional, disastrous consequences.
That sure is a nice house.
The house represented a lot to Manson, where the rich, powerful people are, but he can't get inside.
Eventually, Manson and his family wear out their welcome at Dennis Wilson's house and take up residence in an old Western ranch in the Santa Susana Mountains, once used as a set for movies and TV series like Bonanza. Spawn Ranch is primitive and remote.
On Spawn Ranch, they're isolated. He can send them out to pick through the garbage in containers behind food stores, but they're still going to come back there, fix the big communal dinner. They're going to eat. Charlie's going to preach. He is their entertainment. He is their enlightenment.
Terry Melcher answers Manson's request to visit the ranch, but he is more interested in Charlie's girls than his music. Meanwhile, Dennis Wilson convinces the Beach Boys to record Manson's song, Cease to Exist. To Manson's displeasure, however, they change the lyrics and the title and attribute the songwriting to Dennis Wilson.
Hey, Charlie. It's pretty cool the Beach Boys recorded your song, huh?
People kept turning Charlie down And Charlie blamed Dennis Wilson for that. If you were my real friend, you could make it happen.
He was mad at society for not realizing that Charlie Manson was the greatest singer ever.
What had been a friendship grew into something else, to the point where Dennis Wilson decided Charlie Manson was actually scary.
Who are you?
I'm looking for Dennis.
He's not here.
Manson pays a visit to Dennis Wilson's residence and encounters his housekeeper.
Well, that's a shame.
If you betrayed Charles Manson, you became his enemy.
Can you give him something for me?
What?
Now you tell Dennis. That's from Charlie.
While Charles Manson's chance at fame seems to be slipping away, things couldn't be better for Sharon Tate and Roman Polanski.
Roman Polanski and Sharon Tate's stars were both rising fast. He had directed Rosemary's Baby, and that was a hit. And she had just starred in Valley of the Dolls, and that was a hit. Together, they were Hollywood's hottest couple.
Sharon tells Roman she is pregnant with their first child. While Roman would prefer to postpone a family, he quickly warms to the idea.
I'm going to need a bigger place.
I know, I've been thinking about that. There's a house in Benedict Canyon that just became available. It's very secluded, just off a quiet street. It's the perfect place to raise a family.
Which street?
I think it's called Cielo Drive.
The house at 10,050 Cielo Drive has just been vacated by Beach Boys producer Terry Melcher, the source of Manson's frustration. And in early 1969, Sharon and Roman move in.
Charlie wants revenge. He's got to do something. Here's the problem. Melcher and Candace Bergen have moved to an undisclosed location on the beach.
After the Polanskis move in, photographer Shiro Katami is taking promotional photos of Sharon at the residence when they get a visitor.
Can I help you?
Yeah, I'm looking for Terry Melcher.
Who?
Terry Melcher.
I think you have the wrong house. See, this is the Polanski residence. How did you get inside the gate?
I'm looking for Terry.
Yeah, you said that. He doesn't live here. Goodbye.
The house on Cielo Drive, if you did not know it was there, you could never find it. And that's why people assumed that Manson had been there and had seen Sharon there.
In April of 1969, with husband Roman in London preparing for his next film, Sharon invites two close friends to stay with her until her baby is born. They are 25-year-old Abigail Folger, heiress to the Folger coffee fortune, and her Polish-born 32-year-old boyfriend, Wojciech Frykowski. All will be victims of Manson's madness. Back at Spahn Ranch, revenge for a failed music career isn't the only obsession driving Manson. He's also become consumed with an apocalyptic vision he calls Helter Skelter. Using Bible passages from the Book of Revelation and lyrics from the Beatles' White Album, Manson prophesizes an impending race war from which his family would emerge unscathed and rule the world entire.
Manson says that Helter Skelter is this apocalyptic war. Black people have been enslaved, they've been picked on, now they're going to come back to the top.
Charles Manson was horribly racist and was afraid that black militants were going to attack him. So that was another aspect of what was going on inside of his mind.
Using dune buggies, family members search for the biblical bottomless pit in the desert, their sanctuary from the war.
Helter Skelter's coming real fast.
But we still haven't found the bottomless pit.
We'll find it. It's in the desert like I told you.
But what if we don't?
Do you doubt me, woman?
No, I just...
What's my name?
Charlie?
Charlie what?
Manson? Manson.
Son of man.
Charlie's Jesus Christ.
Amen.
But the self-proclaimed Son of Man is short on cash.
What is it, Charlie? We need money, Bobby. To get to the desert, we're gonna need more dune buggies. Now, Gary Hinman owes me big for that mescaline burn. Tomorrow, I want you to get a couple girls and go pay him a visit. And don't leave without getting at least $1,000.
Gary Hinman was a minor league drug dealer. Charlie sends Bobby Beausoleil, he sends Susan Atkins, he sends Mary Bruner. They get there, Hinman says he hasn't got any money, doesn't know what you're talking about. Manson is summoned, he shows up.
Charlie! Help me, man!
Apparently you don't listen so well, Gary. Kill that son of a bitch if he doesn't come up with the money. And make it look like Blackie did it.
What he wants is for Gary Hinman to be killed and make it look as though black militants had come into this nice neighborhood and killed this man, starting a race war.
Hinman is brutally murdered, and with his blood, Susan Atkins and Bobby Beausoleil write Political Piggy. They also leave what's supposed to be a paw print, the sign of the Black Panthers. Then, taking both Hinman's cars, they drive off and wait for Helter Skelter to begin. This is the catalyst for what happens next.
Charlie, Bobby got arrested.
For what?
For murder, man. He was driving around in Gary's car.
I've got to get him out of jail before he starts talking.
He's worried Bobby Beausoleil, who's been arrested for the crime, is going to turn on Manson and implicate him. So if there's another crime that's exactly the same, the cops can't be that stupid, they'll connect them. Bobby couldn't have done the second one if he's in jail for the first, they'll let him go.
August 8th, 1969.
I don't know, sis. I'd love to have you over tonight.
Sharon Tate is only 2 weeks from delivering her first son.
I think we're just gonna grab a bite to eat and call it an early night. Maybe tomorrow? Okay. Thanks for understanding, hun. Love you. Bye.
"30 miles away at Spahn Ranch, Charles Manson's world is collapsing. One of his followers is in jail for murder and may implicate him. His friends in the music business have betrayed him. He is broke, and his apocalyptic vision of Helter Skelter has not come to pass. In his twisted mind, Manson conjures up an idea that could put an end to all of his problems.
Tex.
Hey, Charlie.
Now's the time for Helter Skelter.
It is?
Yeah.
Charles Watson is a small-town Texas boy who was a great athlete in high school, in Texas' drug-addled mind. What he wants more than anything else is to sort of be Charlie's right-hand man and is willing to do anything to impress Charlie. And unfortunately, in August 1969, that comes in handy.
Now listen up. I want you to get Sadie, Katie, and Linda. Get some knives, a revolver, some rope, and some dark clothes. I want you guys to go out to where Terry Melcher used to live.
Benedict Canyon?
And they got some movie stars living out there now. I want you to round up all their money. Kill every last one of them, just as gruesome as you can. You make it look like Blackie did it. Hang them upside down like little piggies. Slit their throat.
Yeah. Okay.
Tonight, you are the devil. You understand?
Yeah.
You can't promise Helter Skelter and not have it happen.
At the El Coyote Cafe on Beverly Boulevard, Sharon Tate, Abigail Folger, Wojciech Frykowski, and Sharon's ex-boyfriend, Jay Sebring, all have dinner together.
Jay Sebring had briefly been engaged to Sharon Tate. He was known as the hairdresser to the stars. When she left him for Roman Polanski, they remained friends.
You're a terrible influence.
That's why she got rid of you the first time, babe.
Listen, I just want to thank you guys for being with me these past few weeks. It's been really tough with Roman and Lyndon. I just feel so blessed to be around friends.
To friends.
To friends.
It will be their last meal.
Now do exactly what Tex tells you to do. Remember to leave a sign. You girls know what to write. Something witchy.
Upon returning to 10,050 Cielo Drive, Abigail, Wojciech, and Sharon settle in for an unusually hot summer evening.
Wojciech's passed out on the couch. Gibby's in bed. Just thought I'd check on you before I leave.
Can't seem to cool off.
The windows are open.
There's no breeze.
Well, short of summoning the winds, is there anything I can do for you?
Yeah, have this baby for me.
I'll be damned if you're not more beautiful now than ever.
You are so stoned.
At around midnight, a car pulls up to the gate. Inside are Tex Watson, Susan Atkins, Patricia Krenwinkel, and a reluctant Linda Kasabian. They have come to do Charlie's bidding.
Come on, let's go.
In the adjacent guest house, 19-year-old groundskeeper William Garrettson says goodbye to a visiting friend, 18-year-old Stephen Parent. Due to his blaring stereo in the guest house, Garrettson will hear nothing of the coming carnage, even though it happens a mere 100 feet away. After cutting the phone lines, Tex Watson spots Stephen Parent's car approaching him.
A Rambler is coming down the driveway. It's being driven by Steve Parent. He's on his way out.
Watson approaches Parent's car and orders it to halt.
What was that? Did you hear that?
Sounded like fireworks. Well, you know how sound travels in the canyon.
The sound is swallowed up by the valley. The acoustics there are strange.
For no known reason, Tex Watson shot him in the head in his car, killed him.
Leaving Linda Kasabian to stand guard, Tex, Susan, and Patricia approach the house.
They cut their way through a screen, raise a window, and sneak inside. When they get in the house, the first thing they see is Wojciech Frykowski, who is asleep on a sofa in the living room. Further down a hallway, in a guest bedroom, Abigail Folger is sitting up in bed reading a book. In the master bedroom, Jay Sebring and Sharon Tate are talking. When Susan Atkins is creeping down the hall to try to see who else is there, Abigail Folger actually sees her going by. But there's always guests, so Abigail figures, well, it's just somebody else is getting to stay here.
Wake up. What time is it? Who are you? What do you want?
I'm the devil, and I'm here to do the devil's business.
Get up. Come with us or you're dead. Get up. Go to the living room and don't ask any questions.
They made them go into the living room where they began the executions, is all you can say.
What are
you doing here?
Another word out of you and you're dead.
He means it.
They corral everyone into the living room. In these dark moments, Jay Sebring is still thinking about Sharon Tate and her unborn child.
With Wojciech Frykowski's hands bound with a towel, Tex ties nylon rope around the necks of Sharon, Jay, and Abigail and throws it over the beams above. His intention is to hang them.
Everybody get down on the ground, face down. Shut up!
Keep your species pregnant.
I told you already. Another word out of you, and you're dead.
He's standing up for her and trying to make her more comfortable. He really does end up being a hero in this situation.
This, of course, gets the women screaming. Frykowski's on the couch. They think Sebring's dead.
I want all the money you have here.
I have some in my purse in the bedroom.
How much?
Abigail tells Tex that she has $70 in cash. When this doesn't satisfy him, Sharon says she can get him whatever he wants if he gives her time. Meanwhile, Jay Sebring shows signs of life.
Sadie.
Go shut off all the lights in the house.
What are you gonna do with them?
You're all gonna die.
Kill him!
Frykowski gets his hand free. He and Susan are struggling. It's horrible. She's stabbing. He gets a chance to run through the door.
When the gun malfunctions, Tex uses it as a club. Meanwhile, Abigail Folger gets loose of the rope and struggles with Patricia Krenwinkel. But Tex quickly makes his way back into the living room.
I give up. Please don't get me!
A mortally wounded Wojciech Frykowski manages to crawl out the front door. And comes face to face with Linda Kasabian.
Oh God, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Sadie, make it stop.
It's too late.
Abigail, also critically wounded, gets to her feet and stumbles toward Sharon's bedroom and the pool exit. She is pursued by Patricia Krenwinkel.
Krenwinkel tackles Folger, starts stabbing her. She remembers to this day how it hurt her hand when the knife, instead of just penetrating flesh, hit bone.
As Patricia stabs Folger, Watson continues his savage attack on Frykowski, who suffers stab wounds, blunt force trauma to the head, and 2 gunshot wounds. When Watson reaches Folger, she speaks her last haunting words to him.
Don't stab me anymore. I'm already dead.
The wounds of Folger are so horrible that she's wearing a white nightgown. When the police find the bodies a few hours later, they think it's a red nightgown.
Inside the house, Susan Atkins has moved Sharon Tate to the sofa.
Look, bitch, I have no mercy for you. You better be ready. You're gonna die. I don't feel anything about it.
When Watson and Krenwinkel come back inside, Sharon tries to bargain with them.
Oh, please take me with you. Just let my baby live, and you can kill me.
She's begging not for her life, but for the life of her baby. Krenwinkel remembers very avidly that she offered to go with them and they could kill her after she gave birth.
What do you say, Tex?
What's the point? We already killed everybody else here. Just let her go or take her with us so she can have her stupid baby.
Let my baby live.
But Tex remembers Charlie's words.
Kill every last one of them.
Mama!
Then she dies crying for her mother.
Before leaving, Susan Atkins writes the word pig on the front door in Sharon Tate's blood.
They get back in the car. They drive away.
Los Angeles, August 9th, 1969. Housekeeper Winifred Chapman discovers the bodies of Sharon Tate, Jay Sebring, Abigail Folger, Wojciech Frykowski, and Stephen Parent.
She came running from the house screaming, "There's bodies and blood everywhere." And police were horrified. They said they had never seen anything like this. And they probably had not, nor would they ever again.
The story of the ghastly ritual murders is all over television and news. In London, Roman Polanski gets an overseas call informing him that his wife and friends have been slaughtered.
Roman Polanski probably thought that he would be getting a call soon, but the call would have been that the baby had been born. He certainly wasn't expecting to find out that his wife, his unborn child, and then some friends had been slaughtered.
At Spahn Ranch, Charles Manson and his followers watch news reports of the massacre. Only then do they learn the names of their victims.
Dead are 26-year-old actress Sharon Tate, Jay Sebring, hairstylist of the Slumbers, Abigail Folger of the Folger Coffee family.
It was then that it sunk in to the rest of the family exactly who they had killed and what a big deal this was.
Manson is watching, anxiously awaiting the link to be made, and it never is. There was no immediate connection made between them and the Hinman murders.
He wanted there to be some sort of race war starting, and none of that was happening on the news.
Manson still hasn't accomplished what he wanted, so by God, this next night, he's going to take them out and show them how to do it right.
The evening of August 9th, Charlie himself takes the wheel as his group of killers hunts a new target. Joining them tonight is 19-year-old Leslie Van Houten, a former homecoming queen.
So the family's driving around and they get into this neighborhood that Charles Manson knew somebody who lived in one of the houses. So he goes to the house next door, and that's where the LaBiancas live.
The house at 3301 Waverly Drive had once been owned by Walt Disney, now home to grocer Lino LaBianca and his wife, Rosemary.
The LaBiancas, unfortunately, were home.
And once again, the whole plan was to make this look as horrific as possible.
We are one and one are we, hand in hand we go. We are one and one are we.
Okay, listen up. Tex and I got a husband and wife tied up in there. Now, I told them it was just a robbery and they won't be hurt. Now, last night was sloppy. You guys caused panic when you told them they were gonna die. Just get in there and do your job.
Charlie is smart. He's not going to get this blood on his hands. He tells Krenwinkel and Van Houten, go in and do what Tex tells you.
Rosemary LaBianca is stabbed 41 times. Lino suffers 12 bayonet wounds. A carving fork protrudes from his abdomen, and the word war has been carved into his flesh. On the walls, in blood, are the words death to pigs and rise. On the refrigerator, yet another message.
In their blood, an interesting word, helter-skelter, with the word helter misspelled. Charlie's not taking chances this time. Surely the police will connect the two.
Their bodies will be discovered by their children. The next morning, more horrific headlines appear.
After the second night's murders, suddenly everybody in the higher end neighborhoods of Los Angeles are freaking. They're not getting Black Panthers, but they are getting the idea that there are people going around killing rich people.
These 2 nights of murder really sent shockwaves throughout LA because there was nothing to really connect Sharon Tate with the LaBiancas, so anybody was at risk.
These murders didn't just terrify Hollywood, they terrified the whole Los Angeles community. Gun sales went way up. They didn't know who the killers were, and these killers were loose, and who was gonna be next?
Scores of celebrities, including Frank Sinatra and Mia Farrow, go into hiding. Meanwhile, a grieving Roman Polanski returns from London as police are unable to determine a motive or suspect.
Roman Polanski's life was a nightmare in so many ways that it is hard to comprehend. He was out of the country when it happened and found that the European press particularly was accusing him of being the killer. And that was the most painful thing he had to go through, was to come back and say, I had nothing to do with this. This is the tragedy of my life.
As it turns out, Sharon Tate was carrying a boy, Paul Richard Polanski. He was buried in his mother's arms and laid to rest after a funeral where the entire Hollywood elite came to pay their respects to this young actress who had her entire life ahead of her, and to Roman Polanski, who had lost everything.
Desperate to find those responsible for the murder of his wife and unborn son, Roman Polanski allows Life magazine to photograph him at the entrance of his home.
His wife's blood was still on the door, spelling out the word pig. He was desperate for answers. He wanted people to see that, and anybody who had any information could come forward.
With yet another murder committed by Manson and his family, this one of ranch hand Donald Shea for suspected snitching. Charlie moves the group to remote Barker Ranch in Death Valley, but their luck runs out when Susan Sadie Atkins is arrested in connection with the Gary Hinman murder, for which Bobby Beausoleil is still incarcerated. In jail, she brags to a cellmate about the Tate murders.
She wants to impress a couple of her cellmates. She tells them too much. Cellmates turn stooly.
The cellmates report this information to authorities, and soon the world learns the identities of the killers. 4 months to the day after the Tate murders, Manson and several family members are indicted on first-degree murder charges. The trial of the Tate LaBianca murders lasts just under 7 months and is a national spectacle during which Manson exhibits bizarre and violent behavior.
Every day, all the media covering that trial could count on something that the defendants were going to do that you could build a front page around the next day. And every bit of that was masterminded by Charlie Manson.
America was looking at the face of evil, and it made matters even more crazy that there were these women, these young women that would just do anything that he said.
Manson came in one day with an X carved on his forehead that he had probably done with a razor blade. And then the next day, the 3 women had X's carved on their forehead.
And all around outside the court, the young women of the family are sitting on the curbs talking to passersby about how Charlie is wonderful. They all cut the X.
It was bizarre.
Everything worked to Manson's advantage. More than anything else in his life, he wanted to be famous. And by God, for a while, he was perhaps the most famous human being on the planet.
Manson was put on the cover of Life magazine, and his photograph, he just looked crazy.
The prosecution, led by Vincent Bugliosi and Stephen Kay, successfully convinces the jury that the crime was committed in order to ignite the race war Manson calls helter-skelter.
I never really bought the helter-skelter motive. I don't think it was the reason that all this was done. If there was a motive, maybe it was simply that Manson wanted to be a singer, and he had lost his opportunity. He had met Dennis Wilson, Terry Melcher, and nobody had thought that he was a great talent. That may have been the only logical motive.
Others believe the slayings were copycat crimes designed to free Bobby Beausoleil from jail. Still others believe it may have been as simple as robbery. But which is true? Perhaps it was a convergence of each of these motives, a tragic and deadly cocktail for slaughter. In early 1971, Manson, along with Susan Atkins, Patricia Krenwinkel, Leslie Van Houten, and later in a separate trial, Tex Watson, are all convicted and sentenced to death in the gas chamber.
They see what you're doing to your world. LA will burn to the ground. Los Angeles will burn to the ground.
California overturned the death penalty in 1972, so all of their sentences had been commuted to life in prison.
Unfortunately, that sentenced them to endless parole hearings forever, and I have been to a great many of them.
The legend of Manson and his followers is cemented in pop culture with a never-ending stream of movies, books, and documentaries.
Charlie Manson, we remember through this generation, it's going to go on. The reason we do He played us then. He's still playing us now.
Ever present is Deborah Tate, Sharon's younger sister, who, like her late mother Doris Tate, has devoted her life to victims' rights causes and to ensuring her sister's killers remain in jail. Though all of the killers eventually renounce Manson, a handful of his followers remain loyal to him to this day, including Lynette Squeaky Frum, who tried to assassinate President Ford in 1975.
His only gift was in the people he chose to follow him. They were so young and so impressionable they would believe anything.
Tex Watson is now an ordained minister who, like Susan Atkins before her death in prison from cancer, claims to be a born-again Christian.
But Leslie Van Houten, shockingly, has been deemed eligible for parole.
She was a young girl when she went in, and she's now an old lady. And she would like to get out for whatever life she has left.
Charles Manson remains imprisoned at Corcoran State Prison in California. His next parole hearing is in the year 2027. He will be 93.
Fellow prisoners have told me that sometimes they'll go up to him and they'll say, "Charlie, what really happened those nights in LA?" And Charlie will say every time, "I don't know." And then he winks.
The house at 10,050 Cielo Drive has been torn down and replaced with a new estate. Ironically, at a party hosted by the new owner, the evening's entertainment was the Beach Boys. Roman Polanski moves to Europe after Sharon's death and goes on to win multiple awards for his Holocaust film, The Pianist.
The real heartbreak of this story was what happens when you're getting everything that you want out of life? What happens when all your dreams are coming true and then these crazy people come and take it from you? And that happened to Sharon Tate, and she never saw it coming.
Sharon Tate was a beautiful woman. She would have been a wonderful mother, and I think she would have become a well-known actress, known more for her acting skills than for the fact that she was killed by the Manson family.
It's hard to imagine what happens to anybody in a future that doesn't exist.